So come to the back of your mat, take a big inhale, reach up, and then on your exhale, slowly start to roll down one vertebrae at a time, bringing the fingertips down toward the floor, maybe touching the floor, and then slowly start to walk the hands out to the front of the mat. See if you can get your wrists to come directly underneath your shoulders. And then from here, we're going to drop down to the knees. And we're going to go all the way down to the belly and lift ourselves up for a little baby cobra here. Stretching into the low back, lowering down, pressing back up into a tabletop. From here, flow through a couple of cat-cows. One movement, one breath here. Inhaling for a cow, exhaling for cat. Feel the stretch happening through the spine. We're trying to open up the spine here. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And from here, coming back into the neutral tabletop, find a neutral spine, meaning the natural curvature of your spine, and bring your right leg up. So your right leg is going to be perfectly parallel to the floor. See if you can square your hips by pulling your right hip down a little bit. Notice if you can keep that core connection here by pulling the ribs together, pulling the sternum up toward the spine. Now from here, holding the strength through the core, we're going to pull the right leg forward, holding it, and then we're going to bring it back. We're going to do that a couple of more times, coming forward with the leg, and then pressing back. One more time. This is pretty powerful. We're really getting the body nice and warm, ready to start working. From here, lift your left leg up. See if you can square your hips by hugging your left hip down a little bit. And then bring the left leg out and back. Out and back. One more time. Out and back. Coming back into the neutral tabletop. Press the right foot back. The ball of the foot is pressing into the floor here. Getting a nice stretch through our calf muscles. So really focusing on stretching out the calf. And then I want you to take your left knee and pull it up a little bit more, sending the right leg back. So this is a pigeon variation. Notice that my hips are not down on the floor here. I'm staying lifted with the hips above my foot. But if you'd like to take the stretch a little bit deeper and go into a pigeon pose here, feel free. We don't typically take a full pigeon at the beginning of the class, although I've been known to do that in some of my yoga classes. But sometimes it's nice to just open the hip up, kind of gently here in this pigeon variation with the booty right on the heel. But whatever feels good to you in your body, feel free to take that now. Just breathe here, taking a moment, getting a nice extension through the back here, opening up the lower spine, opening up the neck, opening up the shoulders, and then slowly coming back through the tabletop, stretching out the left leg. So press into the ball of the left foot, stretching through the calf muscle on the left side. And then when you're ready, pull the right knee up in between the hands, and then sit down right onto the heel. Or if you want to take it a little deeper, feel free to move the right hip down toward the floor. And notice here, my right hip isn't going all the way to the floor. It actually never does. My hips are a little bit tight, so that's okay if your hip is staying elevated and not going all the way to the floor. If you have super open hips, then you may be able to easily get the hip to the floor. And I'm not forcing my hip down because this is the beginning of our class, and I want to really stretch easily and gently into the hips as we open up our bodies. Just feel it out. If you want to sit up taller here, you can get a nice extension through the spine, looking up, pulling the shoulders back, and then coming back through the tabletop. Let's take a couple more of those cat-cows and notice our spine now. Notice if it feels a little bit different. Do you feel any tightness in the low back? You may want to sway your hips side to side. This is a really good time to just check in with the body toward the beginning of your class as you're starting to open up, and just notice if there's anything in your body that's talking to you. I like to call it a cranky body part. Sometimes they like to talk, they like to tell you that they're not feeling good, something may be feeling tight, or something may just be feeling off. Or maybe you're feeling super open and your body feels amazing and you're gonna have a super powerful practice, and that's great too. But usually for me, I have something that's kind of talking to me, whether it's my neck or my shoulders or my low back or my knee. So you should always want to take good care of those body parts that might be talking to you on any given day. And from here, we're going to open up our knees really wide, coming into a heart melting pose, or sometimes it's called puppy pose in yoga. We're going to bring the arms out in front of us. We're just going to melt the heart down toward the floor. Notice my hips are above my ankles. So I'm not sitting back into it like a child's pose, although if that feels good to you and you'd rather be in a child's pose, that's okay. This is a little bit more of an intense pose to stretch through the shoulders, stretching through the back. If it feels good to you, you can bring the forehead to the floor. You can also bring the chin to the floor, but that's pretty intense. I'm really feeling that in my shoulders. Make sure you can still breathe if you're bringing the chin to the floor. Notice it's hard for me to talk with the chin on the floor because your throat is really open, so your breath is a little bit more restricted here. And slowly coming back through your neutral tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes here and lift up for a downward facing dog. If you don't have a downward dog or a Pilates bike in your practice, then you stay right here in your tabletop. This is a really great place to be. If your wrists start hurting either in your down dog or your tabletop, you can use your fist wrist. So this is a really great way to protect the wrists. You can also fold your mat over and you can hang your hands off of the mat. And then you can also come onto the forearm. So those are all great options for anyone that might need to modify for the wrists. If you're in your down dog, let's start pedaling out your feet. If you're in a tabletop, then you just move however it feels natural or organic to you at this point in your practice. You're going to do something really powerful here to get the body nice and open. But before we do that, we're going to come into stillness here, melt the heart toward the upper thighs, feeling an intense stretch through the calves and also the hamstrings. I'm going to lift my right leg up, and I'm going to open up. I'm going to stack my hips, and I'm going to allow my rib cage to really open up here. I'm going to take a couple big circles with the hip. I'm going to make sure I go both directions, activating the synovial fluids in my hip joints, and then I'm going to come into this three-legged dog with stacked hips. I'm feeling a big stretch through my left calf and my left ankle, but it actually feels really nice. And then notice I'm going to press back here, melting the heart toward the left upper thigh. From here, I'm going to come back into a three-legged dog and pull my knee to the nose, engaging the core, and then sending it back. Let's do that again. Really engage the core here, and then send it back. And one more time. Let's pull the foot up this time, and in between the hands, coming into a low runner's lunge. I'm going to start to move forward and back a little bit here, just to stretch nicely through my thighs, through my adductors. Those are the inner thigh muscles, and then also my outer hips. We've already opened the hips a little bit here with our pigeon variation. It might feel good for you to take your right hand and pull your right hip back a little bit to square the hips. And when I do that, I feel a little burn in my hips. So just notice that happens when you pull your hip back. And then find some stillness here and allow your breath to guide you deeper into the pose. So let's take a big inhale together. Exhale. Maybe sink a little bit deeper into this stretch. And then when you're ready, press into your hands, step back, downward facing dog. We're going to do all that on the other side. So we're going to lift our left leg high to the sky. I'm going to start to open up, stacking my hips here. I'm going to bend my left knee. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to try to kick my booty with my heel here by bringing the heel down toward my glutes. Now I'm looking up into the left armpit here, and I'm opening up the rib cage, really breathing through the left side body. And remember, you can do all of this right on your tabletop. Now from here, I'm going to try to extend the leg long, coming into this sort of split variation of our downward facing dog. I'm going to melt my heart again up toward the upper thighs, getting that tremendous stretch through my right ankle, right shin, and right calves. And then coming back into my three-legged dog, very powerfully engaging the core, pulling the knee to the nose. I'm going to send it back. Again, knee to the nose, send it back. And this time we're going to come through We're gonna step through ninja style, no noise, bringing the foot in, coming into our low lunge, rocking it forward and back a couple times again. If your knee is going over your ankle in this low runner's lunge, don't worry too much about that. We're not really doing this for body alignment right now. We're doing it mostly just to get a nice stretch through the inner and outer thighs. We're going to use our breath to go a little bit deeper. If you need to tense up on your fingers, that's okay too. We're going to take a big inhale. Exhale, sink into it. Stretch it out. Good. Inhale and exhale. Step back, downward facing dog or Pilates pike. From here, walk the hands back to meet the feet. We're going to make a candy cane shape with the body here as we roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming into a mountain pose, we're just going to take a moment. That was a very powerful warm up there. My core is really firing. And notice that I'm a little bit out of breath here. So I was working really hard there. So hopefully you are too. We're ready to go. We're nice and warmed up. So let's stretch a little bit more. Moving through a few Pilates push-ups. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, rolling down. Hug the belly in. Belly button toward the spine here. Hands come down. You want to try to press the hands into the floor. If that's not happening, that's okay. You can at least try to touch the floor, but you can leave your hands hovering here, no problem. And then we're going to walk it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a push-up. Try not to sag in the low back. Keep the elbows in. Pilates pike. Walk it back. 2, 3, 4. Stretch it out. And then roll up. Hug the belly in, navel in, toward the spine, all the way up. Keeping that C-shaped body, that candy cane-shaped body with the abs. Inhale. Now notice that C shape, that candy cane I was talking about here. I'm doing that because I'm pulling my belly button up and in, forcing that concave shape through the belly and the chest. Walk it out. 2, 3, 4. 2 push-ups here. Take the knees if you need to. Use your Pilates breath here. Inhale down. Exhale up. HA like you're fogging the window. Step it back, 2, 3, 4, and release. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. We have one more. Powerful push-ups here. You can do it. Tell yourself you're a star. Exhale as you roll down. One vertebrae at a time. Making that nice C shape with the body. And then walk it out. 2, 3, 4. Take your knees at any time. If you start to feel drooping in the booty or the low back, then you know you need to take the knees to protect the low back. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Pilates pike. One more time. See if you can get those heels a little bit closer to the floor this time. And slowly walk the hands back to meet the feet. 3, 4. And we're just going to hold here for a moment. We're just going to hang tight. And we're going to walk our knees forward and backwards, like we're speed walking. I also have my earring caught in my hair, and it doesn't feel very good. So I'm going to use this opportunity to go ahead and just take those out so they don't cause me any more problems through the class. So press the hands into the floor, walk the knees forward, forward, backward, backward, just like you're speed walking. Feeling that big stretch through the hamstrings here. And then from here, we're going to keep the left knee bent. Press the left hand into the floor and then twist yourself up to the right. Feeling that tremendous stretch for the IT band here in the right side of the leg. Reach up, stretch long, big inhale, stack the shoulders, and then slowly come back down. Do that on the other side. Bend your right knee. Reach up the left arm, reach, 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 stack the shoulders as much as you can, stretching through the low back, through the IT band, and then bring the hand back down, and then we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time, belly in, belly tight. Take a moment here if you're feeling a little bit dizzy or lightheaded, just take this time to recheck in, regroup. Now from here, we're going to take a big inhale up. We're going to exhale into a forward fold. We're going to walk the hands forward, 2, 3, 4. beginning during our warm-up, all the way to the belly, but we're gonna keep those elbows in, tuck them toward the ribs, and try not to let your low back sag. So here we go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Now untuck the toes. Let's take another baby cobra, warming up the low back here for some belly work. And then press back through your tabletop child's pose. Now feel the stretch through the low back here, opposite of that back bend that we just did through cobra. It may feel better to keep your knees together here in this child's pose to get a deeper stretch into the low back. So what you're doing now is you're elongating your spine. So you're stretching out through the lower lumbar region of your back, pressing into the fingers, maybe bringing the forehead down to the floor. If you tint up onto the fingers here, you're going to get a much deeper stretch to the shoulders. So you can try that and see how it feels. It might be a little too much for the shoulders at this point, but just feel it out. And then slowly, we're going to come back. We're going to take a high plank, and we're going to lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck your toes. Baby cobra. Shoulders down. Coming down, pressing back through the tabletop into your child's pose. Now see if you can go a little deeper into the shoulders this time. Bring the forehead down to the floor, maybe even your nose. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly bring it back into our high plank. We're going to lower down, belly in for 5, 4, navel to the spine, 3, ribs together, 2, 1. Untuck the toes. Lift up, baby cobra. Exhale down. Last one here. Press through the tabletop. I know it's so hard. Back to the child's pose. Take a little break. Take a breather. Little resting pose here and just relax. Now this time I want you to just let your arms be where they want to be. So if you need to bend your elbows, go for it. You can also bring your arms back behind you. You can take a shoulder stretch here. If you want to go the opposite way, you can grab hold of your inside of your thigh here, and then you can take a bind in your child's pose and open up that right shoulder. Just a variation that might be fun for you to try. I think it feels really good. And then see if you can take the bind on the other side. But I want you to just feel good in this moment. Just checking in, taking some time for yourself. Notice here if there's any other movement that you feel like your low back needs. We're going to work into some low back exercises now to work on the strength of the core. So the low back, remember, is part of the core. So we always need to make sure that our low back stays strong, especially if we have any spinal issues or low back issues, which most of us do. We want to make sure that we don't forget about it and we don't always just think that the core is here. It's also here. So from here, let's go ahead and walk back out, coming onto the belly. And we're going to bring the hands underneath the forehead. So we're just pressing the forehead gently into the hands. And we're going to open up our feet to a V. So this is not a big wide V. It's just about as wide as your yoga mat or your Pilates mat, whatever you're working on. And then the forehead is just resting on the hands. So we're going to do a quick exercise here on how to engage the core properly when you're on your belly, which is not super intuitive, and I talk about this a lot because it's kind of hard to do. When you're on your belly, we think that our core is engaged just if we're, squeezing a little bit of our booty here. But that's not quite enough. Squeezing the booty does definitely help because we want to be booty down, belly up. But what we really want to be doing is engaging our T-point, which is when you pull the sternum up toward your ribs, making that concave shape in your chest, pressing the pubic bone into the floor, making a suction cup over your pubic bone in between there and your navel. Once you do that, then you're starting to really feel the core engaged. And the hard part is actually keeping that through the exercises, because usually when we're doing extension work, we want to kind of splay our ribs open. So notice my body now is kind of limp like a noodle. Now, core is engaged, everything lifted. Notice my kneecaps have been lifted off the floor here. So let's try that one more time. Just let everything go. You can be a limp noodle for a second. Pubic bone presses into the floor. Suction cup down there with the body here, and then pulling the ribs together, sternum to the spine, engaging your T-point, squeezing the booty, lifting through the pelvic floor, and pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. So keep all that right there. Don't move, but make sure you're breathing, keeping the core engagement for the exercise. From here, I want you to take your right leg and I want you to extend it long. Extend it so long that it naturally just lifts up off the mat. And then bring it down. Did you feel your booty? If your booty is burning, you're doing it right. Now let's do that on the other side. Left side. Just extend your left toes so long that your foot just naturally lifts off the floor. Squeeze the booty. Don't lose your T-point here. Notice the low back is really working, and then bring it back down. Now from here, take your right leg, pull it in, so you're bending at the knee and you're trying to almost kick your booty like we did in our downward dog earlier in class. My ribs splayed open and now I'm kind of loose here. I don't really have a good core engagement. So I'm going to try to bring back my core engagement with my heel closer to my glute. Now all of a sudden, pretty much every part of me from my low back down is burning. So my low back is working, my booty is burning, my hamstrings are really working. I can feel the hamstring glute connection really firing. So feel that connection. And then let's just kick it in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just take a second there and notice where you really felt it in your body. I definitely felt it in my hamstrings. Let's try the other side. Booty down, belly up. Make sure your core is really engaged. Bend the left knee and kick your booty, or try to. Doesn't really matter how close your heel gets to your booty. What matters is that you don't lose your core engagement and you keep engaging your T-point. So once you have your heel closer to your glute, see if you can feel everything firing, and then all of a sudden, you'll notice different parts of your body are really waking up. So we're gonna pulse that in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So if that felt super easy for you, then maybe you need to engage your core just a little bit more. If it felt super hard, then you're probably doing it right. So now we're gonna try it with both legs. So this is really an activity in engaging the core, which is the hardest thing that we do in our Pilates practice, but it's the most important thing that we do. So we're gonna bring the forehead back down onto the hands, really focusing on nothing but the core here. So focus on your booty down, belly up, press your pubic bone into the floor, lift your pelvic floor, ribs together, making that C shape or concave shape in your ribs and chest. Now you're going to see if you can kick your booty with both legs and keep that core engagement. So this one is really hard for me. All of a sudden, my ribs want to splay when I do that. So come out of it, try it again, bring your legs up, keep that engagement. Keep it, keep it, keep it so hard, right? And then notice what happens when you try to pulse 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. So that's your tutorial today for core engagement on the belly, which is no easy task. It's definitely no joke. From here, we're going to move into some leg kicks. So I like to be on my forearms with my fingers interlaced for our single leg kicks. Your belly is going to be lifted off the mat a little bit. Try not to cave into the shoulders, but you've got to make sure that you keep your core engagement. So when we're lifted a little bit, it's easier to splay the ribs open. And we want to make sure that we're not doing that. So you want to hug everything in, hug in the T-point, engage the core. And then from here, we're going to go 2 inhales and exhale to extend. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Booty tight. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more. One more. I know I said 2 more, but I wanted you to try it one more time. You can keep doing that. We're going to do 8 more of these, but now we're going to take it a little deeper. So if you want to stay at level 1, keep doing what we just did. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, then I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to bring the body down, bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, and then we're going to kick, 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 but this time 3 times. So we'll do it real fast. 1, 2, 3, and then extend. So we're building in the spinal extension more into the leg kicks. So again, 1, 2, 3, extend. And this time the breath is opposite. We're actually inhaling to extend, and we're exhaling, ha, 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 to kick. So let's try that. And what I like to do is rest opposite cheeks on the floor when I'm kicking, engaging the core. So I'll start looking at you, and you can start looking at me. And then we're going to bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers if it's comfortable, but if it's not comfortable for you, you can take any hand variation behind the back just to open the shoulders. But remember, keep the shoulders down away from the ears. That's very important. Now, booty down, belly up. Keep the core engagement. Your legs are so strong and so tight that they're almost lifting off the floor. So here we go. Ha, ha, ha. Extend. Now, kick, 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 extend. Kick, 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 extend, kick, 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 extend. That's 2. We have 4 more, so keep going. Booty down, belly up. It's very difficult to keep the core engaged here, so keep working it. You're working the back. You're doing great things for the core here. Keep your breath. Ha, ha, extend. 2 more on each side. Shoulders are feeling this, right? Everything in my body is feeling this. Very powerful exercise. Last one. You got this. Keep going. Ha, ha, ha. And relax. Whew. All right, take a moment. Let's press back into child's pose, because child's pose is a very good counter posture for those spinal extensions. If your low back feels a little bit tender after those exercises, that's normal. Just be very careful and be very mindful if you have any low back issues. These are McKenzie exercises. They're specifically spinal extensions to work the strength of the low back, and they're done on the belly. And we're going to do 3 of them today. That was the first one. The second one is called swimming, which we do often in the class. It's really challenging as well, but I don't find it quite as challenging as the one we just did, so hopefully this will give you a little bit of a break. So bring the legs out to a V, not too wide, just about as wide as your mat. And then from here, we're going to extend the arms long. We've already practiced our swimming. You just didn't really know that's what we were doing. When we were practicing our core and extending the leg long, that was me already setting you up for swimming. So you already know what to do. Booty down, belly up. Legs are really strong, kneecaps are lifting. And then you can start to lift opposite leg with opposite hands. So I'm going to start with the left leg, right hand, keeping the core engaged, lower down. Left hand, right leg, lower down. Right hand, left leg, lower down. We're practicing slowly here because what we're really focusing on is keeping the core engaged, which is the hardest part of these McKenzie exercises. We want to make sure that we're keeping belly down, or belly up, booty down, so that we have a core engagement that's going to protect the low back. That's the most important thing. So we have 3 more of these on each side, just like this. If you have an advanced Pilates practice and you already want to move into a full swim, please feel free to do that. But right now we're just focusing on the core and the core engagement so that we can make sure that before we take a full swim, everything is ready to go. Last one. I'm already winded, it's already hard, and down. Pretty much everything we do in our Pilates practice is hard. That's why we take lots of breaks. We want to keep our rest and digest system under control and not move into a fight or flight sensation in our Pilates practice. So we take lots of breaks. So if you feel like you need a child's pose, please feel free to take it now. Otherwise, you can stay right there on your belly, no worries. And then we're going to move into a full swim. But first, I'm going to show you a modification, so that's sort of in between what we just did in a full swim, so that way you can decide where you want to be in the second set. So if you want to continue doing exactly what we were doing, that's fine. That's great for the body. You can also take it a little faster. So notice how I'm already lifting up the opposite as the other ones come down. So as my right hand, left leg comes down, I'm already engaging and lifting the left hand, right leg. But if you want to take it into a full swim, then everything is lifted off the floor and you start swimming. So you pick wherever you want to be. We're going to do this one more time. We're going to do 10 reps. So here we go. Get ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and rest. Ooh. So it's really hard, right? So hard. If you feel the calling here, press back into your child's pose. Otherwise, you can stay right on your belly. We have one more exercise here for the low back. I know these are not easy, but the last 2 Pilates classes this week, we have not done very much work with the low back. So we need to make sure that we keep our classes really rounded. And throughout the week, I always rotate through lots of the different kinds of exercises in Pilates. And I do lots of the traditional exercises so that we can make sure that we're hitting everything we need to hit when we have no props. Because we're doing propless Pilates, we have to make sure that we're having a very well-rounded class. The next exercise is called Swan. This is the most challenging of all 3. So for Swan, you're going to come back like you're in your Cobra. And you're going to press up just a little higher. From here, you're going to come down and you're going to lift both legs off the floor. And then up and down. Let's do a few more. This might be where you want to be. You may not want to go into a full swan today. And if you choose not to, that's also okay. So you can stay there. Full swan, what we're going to do is we're going to come in, lift up, get a little bit of momentum, and then we're going to release the arms and we're going to rock. So it's all back that you're using, okay, in terms of strengthening your low back. It's a great exercise, but it's really challenging. So you have to make sure that you're really tight, everything is pulled in, and that you're really protecting the low back. So I'm going to demo it once, and then you can try it if you want to. Otherwise, you can keep doing exactly what we were just doing, because that's great too. So here's the demo. Make sure everything is nice and tight, ready to go. And after a couple, I'm going to get some momentum, and then I'm going to release the arms, and I'm going to keep trying to rock, okay, with just the momentum that I gained from my core engagement and from pressing with my hands. So here we go. Okay, so that's a swan. Very challenging, very difficult to release the hands. However, you don't have to release the hands. Remember, Pilates is beautiful because there's lots of levels and they're all layered, and so you can always take your time and work up to the next level in your Pilates practice. So we're going to do that one more time. You can watch me again, or you can try it on your own, or you can go back to the original posture that we practiced initially if you want to stay right there. It's very challenging, but really good for us. Open up your legs, make sure your core is engaged, elbows in. Get your momentum. And you can rock as many times as you want to. It's usually suggested to rock anywhere between 3 and 5 times in your swan, but hey, I mean, it's hard. If you get 1 rock with your arms, that's awesome. I think I had like 4. A 5th one, definitely, I could feel it was going to take a whole lot of work for me to get that 5th one in, but that's okay too, because we're here to get stronger, and we're here to work, and we're here to have fun, right? We're going to come into some side lying exercises now. So we're going to come onto the left side of the body. Although if you're on your right side, you can stay right there, no problem. I'm going to bring my knees and my feet up toward the edge of my mat. I'm going to go ahead and lay down here. If you have a yoga block or a Pilates ball or any kind of small pillow and you want to place it underneath your head, that's fine. And then you can wrap the arm around it and give yourself a little pillow. But I'm going to just keep my head flat. It's better in this series, what we're doing right now, to not be up on the neck to protect the neck. So we want the neck to be long. Notice that my shins are parallel to my mat, And I'm gonna pull my top hip down so that my top toe actually goes past my bottom toe. So you see how that happened? My top toe is extending past the bottom toe. When I do that, I'm lifting up through my obliques and I'm making a space there underneath my side body. And that's exactly what we want to happen. So let's collapse that down so that we can all practice that together. And then we're gonna extend the hip, foot extends long, lifting through the side body, through the oblique, and get a nice space there. Everybody's space is gonna look different. Some people's space will be a little bit bigger than others, and that's okay. As long as you're lifting and engaging, that's really what matters. From here, we're gonna start to lift the right leg up, and then we're gonna lower it down. Notice I'm not coming all the way down, so I'm not getting momentum here, because that's not a whole lot of work. We wanna make sure that we're staying in the work, so I'm not bringing it all the way down. I'm gonna use my HA breath to lift it back up. Inhale down. 3 more. Very good. All right, so from here, lift the right leg up. We're gonna take it back just a little bit and down and forward, like we're drawing a little box. Lift up and back and down and forward. Up, back, down, and forward. Don't worry, this is gonna get hard. It's gonna start to really burn. I call them the boxes of burn. Maybe we should call them the box of love. I don't know, but they're really working into your glute medius muscle, that high butt muscle, and you're really starting to feel the burn at about number 6, which is where we are now. I'm starting to really feel it. We have 2 more. There goes 7. Here comes 8. You can do it. All right, now hold it there. Try not to collapse here into the obliques. Straighten out your right leg in front of you. Try not to move your pelvis at all. Make sure that you haven't lost your core engagement. Bring the leg back like you're trying to kick your booty, just like we did earlier. And then back forward, and notice what this feels like with the body. Feels just like you are riding a bicycle, and that's exactly what we're doing. These are called bicycles in Pilates. Let's do 8, going each direction. 4 more. Are we having fun yet? Good. 3, 2. Are you feeling the burn yet? Good. Now we're going to take it forward and bring it back and around and back and around. And you can point your toes or flex your toes any way that feels natural for you. If I point my toes too much in these bicycles, I tend to get crampy in my feet. So I do better in these bicycles when my toes are flexed. You can also combine the flex and the point. So you can point on the way up and flex on the way back. 1 more. Good. Now we're going to leave the leg out. We're going to take little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5. Feel the burn. 4. Embrace it. 3. You can do it. 2, 1, and lower down. Give yourself a little shiatsu massage. And I didn't really feel that burn, like super burny, until we started doing the pulses. And then, whoa, that was so hard. I was actually contemplating doing some leg circles, but I wasn't sure if I could even do them. So let's go ahead and do those leg circles now that we've had a little break. Feel free to chop it out a little bit more if you need to. If your butt's on fire, that's normal. You're going to bring the leg out. Now let's take those little circles for 5, 4, still burning, right? 3, 2, 1. So hard. Reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring the leg back. Okay, hold on to it. You can do it. Hold on to it. Turn your toe up. Now turn it in. Turn it up. Feel that burn. Turn it in. You can do it. Up and in. 2 more. Up and in. Don't lose your core engagement. Up and in. Whew, burn. Up. Now, little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn it in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little circles, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Change, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Ooh, oh yeah, oh my gosh, so hard, right? Let's roll over to the low back. Work this out a little bit with our figure 4 stretch. You can also stretch more through the low back. See if you can ground through the shoulder blades here, through the scapula, and just press into the right leg. Notice if your outer hip on the right side is still burning. Mine definitely is. Press into the knee a little bit here, open it up. If it's calling for you and you want to take this stretch deeper, feel free to interlace your hands behind the leg and hold the left knee closer to your chest, closer to your face. And then you're going to feel that stretch and burn through the right outer hips. Breathe it out. One more deep breath here. And lower down. From here, open up your feet about as wide as your mat and take some windshield washers with the legs. Just checking our time here. Make sure we're not going to go over. Feeling really good here with our sideline exercises and all of our McKinsey exercises today. So this practice really is full body. We started out with some shoulder stretches and then we moved into our low back and now we're moving into the side. So really awesome work, y'all. I'm so proud of you for sticking with your Pilates practice from home. All right, from here, we need to come onto the other side. I hope you didn't think that I had forgotten that we have another side to do. We always have to counter and do both sides. You're gonna pull your knees up toward the edge of your mat. Shins are parallel to the mat. And then you're gonna come down, have a little pillow or a yoga block if that feels good, or have your head straight, but not here, not for this particular set of exercises. Again, pull the left hip down so that your left toes slide over the right. So let's try that again. You might want to watch me just in case you're still a little confused about what that means. I'm pulling the left hip down and then the left toes are coming down past the right. See how my side obliques are lifting off the mat. So I'm going to keep that core engagement the whole time. When we stay lifted and we're not rolling back here, then we know that the core is engaged and we know that our T-point is hugging in and fully engaged. From here, we're going to lift the leg up and down. Remember, we're not bringing it all the way down. We're staying in the work here. And typically in Pilates, we use the HA breath when we do the work and inhale down. So, three more. 2, 1, and up. Now we're going to make our box. So back, down, up. So lift it, pull it back, lower it, and pull it up. So your knee is making a little box. This one can be a little bit confusing for the brain sometimes, so just feel it out. If it makes more sense for you to think about it as an oval, then that might work for you as well. Just making that little box here, so burny, just feel it. I'm not feeling too much yet, but I know it's coming, right? It's always coming. Some days I start to feel this at like number 3, and then other days it takes a few more times. And up, let's do one more here because I kind of lost count there. That's all right. If we do a little bit extra, it won't hurt us. Then from here, we're gonna straighten the leg out, working into our bicycles. You can point to go back and then flex to come forward if that feels more natural, or flex to go back and then point to come forward. This one doesn't feel as natural for me. I prefer to flex, kick the booty, and then keep my foot flexed. But again, there's alternatives. You can flex and point, or point and flex. Whatever works for you. The most important part is to keep the legs active and engaged, and keep the core engaged, and keep the pelvis stable. So in other words, no loosey-goosey pelvis here. We're trying to keep the pelvis nice and strong without movement. We're gonna reverse, take it back and forward. Back and forward, back and forward. We have 5 more. Try to keep really discrete movements here so that you don't have a bunch of momentum in swinging of the legs. Because once you start doing that, then you're not really working as hard. So what we really want to do here is stay in the work. Stay in the work. 1 more. Bring it forward, hold here, and here comes our little pulses that killed us on the other side. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Take a little rest. Take your little shiatsu massage if you need to. Whew. Did you feel the burn just as much on the left side as you did the right? I definitely felt it as much. From here, we're gonna move back into those exercises 1 more time. I like to tent up onto my left fingers. You can do that. You can also have your palm flat, but it helps with the balance. Make sure you get your obliques lifted here off the mat. So remember, no splaying of the ribs, no leaning back like this. Obliques are lifted by pulling the top hip down such that your obliques are coming off the floor. We're gonna bring the left leg out, and we're gonna take little circles for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the toe out, and in, and out, and in. 3 more, feeling the burn. Embrace it, you can do it. Tell yourself you're a star, you are awesome, you can do it. Don't hold your breath. All right, point the toe down. Here we go, little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's turn it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Chop it out. So hard, right? Oh my goodness. That was just as hard on that side for me as it was on the other side. Chop it out, shiatsu massage, and then when you're ready, roll over. Take our figure 4 shape. Notice when you take your hand and you press the knee, you get that nice burning sensation in your left glutes. That means you've really been working those glutes hard. Those exercises are definitely no joke. The sidelining exercises. A lot of times in my Pilates classes, I say, okay, let's come onto the side, and I can just see the dread or the fear in the eyes, like, oh, what's coming? Because they're always so hard. But it's okay to have fun with it, and always remember to take breaks if you need to. If you take a break in your Pilates or yoga class, it does not mean you're a bad person, right? It just means that you're listening to your body and you're taking a break when you need to take a break. Although we want to get to the point where we don't have to take too many breaks, because that means that we're really building our strength, and that's what we're here for. So pull the knee in. We got to push ourselves a little bit, right? But not too much. You have to find that balance. Stretch it out. Coming back, windshield washer. Feels really nice. Releasing the hips, releasing the low back. All the hard work you've been doing for the last 45 minutes. We just have a few minutes left in class. We'll end with some nice stretches here to close our practice. And when you're ready, we're going to come into a bridge pose. Bring the fingers down toward the heels and traction the heels toward the glutes. Now I'm going to come into a yoga bridge today just because we did all of those McKenzie exercises for the low back. So I'm feeling like a deeper back bend is going to be really nice to close the practice. But if that's not calling for you, then you can take any posture here that you want. Maybe you'd rather have a happy baby, or maybe you'd rather come into a Pilates bridge where you're lifting the hips straight up like this, but you're not actually going into the back bend. So for the yoga bridge, the heels are a little bit closer to the glutes, and I'm pressing into the hands. And then I'm going to lift my hips, and I'm going to bring my hands underneath the sacrum, and I'm going to try to interlace my fingers together. From here, to go deeper into the back bend, you see how I'm not really in much of a back bend yet. I'm going to start to stack my shoulders a little bit so that I can really get that nice extension through the back I'm opening my heart, opening my chest, chin is tucked, shoulders are open. It's feeling really nice here. I'm just gonna hold this for one more full round of breath. Wherever you are, just hang on to it. Whatever stretch you're doing is a good place for you. And then I'm gonna lower back down. I'm gonna bring my legs up. We're gonna close here with a very powerful core exercise. We're gonna lower these legs down over 10, 9, 8. Try not to let the low back lift up too much. 6, 5, hold on to it, you can do it. Pull your ribs together. Think about the T-point that I've talked about earlier in class. Where was I? Let's start over. How about we start over? 9, 8, we can do it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms up overhead. Take a big inhale here. Slowly start to roll up. One vertebrae at a time. Big exhale coming up. Big stretch over the coffee table. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's do that one more time. Close our practice. This nice hamstring stretch. Big opening, core work happening here. Big exhale here. Get yourself up. Heels stay down. Stretching up and over. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your feet and just relax into this big frontal stretch. Forward fold. Stretch into it. Bend your knees a little bit here if you need to. If you have tight hamstrings like me, it's a safer way to stretch by bending the knees. And then we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Coming into one final side stretch, we're going to come into a Z seat. For the Z seat, it's a little bit like the mermaid that we've been doing this week, but you're going to place the left foot right on the thigh, just above the knee. So your body looks like a Z. And then we're going to take a couple of stretches here to close the class. We're going to stretch up and over with the left arm, stretching through the side body. This should feel really nice. Keep the left shoulder up and back. So I'm pressing into the right hand to keep the left shoulder up and back. And then if you want, turn your gaze to the left. A little stretch in the neck, and then slowly bring the left hand down. Stretch it over to the other side. This side might feel a little bit more natural. Coming back up. Very nice. Let's twist to the right. And back around. Twist to the left. Back around and switch. From here, right arm comes up and over. Big stretch here. Keep the right shoulder pulling up and back, looking up, opening up the neck, opening the shoulders, opening the ribs, back, over to the other side. Coming back around for the twist. Twist to the left. Twist to the right. Stretch it out. Hopefully feels really good. Back to the center. Coming into an easy seat. Close our practice today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. You're all finished.